now, so to make the recording work. So my name is Zubair Idris Aweda. I am a backend web developer, a student of the University of Lagos currently. Let's see. Yeah, it's Laravel, Node.js, and Vue.js. I guess that was all about it. Later on into the talk. So I'll be sharing my screen now and making presentation. So I'll drop links or the link to my slides now, so we can all follow along as I explain. Okay, so now, so everyone can move easily. So let me share my screen. Okay, yeah. So if you can see my screen, say yes. Someone should please respond. I want this to be as interactive as possible. Yeah, we'll be having some practical sessions too. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, over to my slides. I already dropped the link for whoever else wants to follow, but I'll present still. So, introduction to Git. So in this session, we'll be learning all about Git, what Git is, getting started with Git, what some of the basic terms you've always heard, what they mean, and some of the basic commands you see every day, what they actually do and what they actually mean. So, getting in. So I'm a backend developer, as I said earlier, and I love games. I play games a lot. I love food, music, and here is my Twitter handle and my portfolio link. Should you want to follow me or reach out to me? So going on, we start the session officially. So what is Git? So Git is a distributed version control system for tracking changes in source code during software development. It is designed for coordinating work among programmers, but it can be used to track changes in any set of files. Its goals include speed, data integrity, and support for distributed non-linear workflow. So this definition was gotten directly from Wikipedia, word for word. So it's like the official definition. So, but in basic terms, Git is just like a system of files that helps you track changes in your application. Sorry, I'm coming. I lost contact with my audio. Okay, hello. I am back now. So, are we still following? Let me know if you're still following. Okay. Okay, so I would continue presenting now. So Git, as I was saying earlier on, is just a system that helps developers work better by helping them track changes in source code during development. It helps coordinate work among programmers. You can assign issues to different developers. You can have different branches to make development faster. Different people can work on different aspects of a program, a single source code, and will work together effectively. So the goals of Git include speed. When all of us can work together at the same time on different features of the application, we develop faster. Instead of me waiting on you to develop and then probably zip up and send to me via mail, and then I develop and then probably zip and send again, it takes time. So Git helps us reduce that time and gives us the required speed. Also, there's data integrity. You can have private repos, making sure that your source code is very secure. Except if probably you're a lover of open source like I am, you can decide to make all of your repos public. But there's a security there. Your data is well protected. And then there is support for distributed non-linear workflows. Still back to what I explained. You can have a type of workflow where you don't actually follow a direct path. You can develop all of the features, all of the branches of your particular software at once at a go. So Git makes everything easier. So I said Git is a version control system, so we are taking a deeper look at version control systems now, what they do and how they work. So a version control system keeps track of all changes made to the file it's monitoring. So we'll be seeing these things in action today. It allows multiple developers work on the same project. Hopefully we should be able to do that today also. It keeps track of when the change made, we'll see that, and keeps track of who made these changes, also keeps track of what changes were actually made. So basically, yeah, it's monitoring your system, studying the files to know what it does. So for it to work with Git, you need access to a Git-based hosted service. So Git directly is like a foundation. So you need a Git-based hosted service, something like that was built upon Git that helps you do things, that helps you perform the functions of Git, and then some come with additional functions. So the top Git hosted service providers, the top ones you'd likely see, you have GitHub, you have Bitbucket, and you have GitLab. So GitHub are on in this session, and most of DSC's program would be using GitHub. So in this session, we learn to use GitHub like a master, hopefully. So next, moving on, now that we've decided to use GitHub, it's worth knowing what GitHub is all about and at least the basics of it. So GitHub provides hosting service for software development and also version control with Git. So like I said earlier, you need a software that was built upon Git and then adds other functions. So it offers the distributed version control and source code management functionality of Git plus its own features. So apart from the basics of Git tracking files, tracking who made those changes, when these changes were made, GitHub now has a whole lot of new functionalities to make development even better, less stressful, and all. So just to be sure we are still following, if you are with me now, just type Git. So I know we are all still following. So I'll be sure I haven't been talking to myself. Okay, I am liking the response. Very well. So we proceed. So now we know what Git is, what GitHub is. So in summary, GitHub is just Git plus cool stuff. So a lot of those cool stuffs are what you'd be enjoying, what you'd be exploring in this session. Yeah. So remember earlier on that I mentioned that GitHub is not only the Git-based hosting service that we have. So why did we pick GitHub? Okay, so first is among the benefits. Here are some you'd love to know. So GitHub helps you remove the communication overhead in collaboration, so you can work in teams seamlessly with GitHub. And there is also version control with Git, which we already discussed at length earlier on. Then there's deployment and continuous integration. So depending on the stack of your software or how you decide your architecture or stuff. GitHub helps you easily integrate with hosting platforms like Heroku, Netlify. You can easily deploy from GitHub to Heroku or Netlify, and probably even Namecheap. Yeah, Namecheap also has the support. And upon every addition, it tracks changes to your source code. So upon every single change, it automatically redeploys. So you should only worry about the code. GitHub has got you. You don't have to worry about, okay, we made a change to this software, we have to redeploy next week. GitHub got you. You just have to worry about making the code work. Yeah, GitHub also provides storage. You can have as many repos as possible. You can have as many source codes as possible. You can unlimited storage available to you. You can have as many files as you want on your GitHub. And there's security. GitHub is less likely to be hacked than your own personal system because GitHub is, or it was built by professionals and it's still in development every single day. So it's less likely to be hacked than your personal system. So it's more secure than it's a reason to use GitHub. So now, having explained what GitHub does now, and most of us have actually been using GitHub for a while now, and we don't really know Git. So the question now is, you really need to know Git because quite a lot of these text editors or IDEs that we use now always have tools that support Git that helps you do Git functions. Like in VS Code, at the left side, they have this version control button that helps you push, pull, do all your Git actions for you. And even Sublime has Sublime Merge to help you. So all of these text editors have these Git GUIs to help make the process easier. So why do you really need to know Git? So the answer basically is quite a lot of times we've seen people when they have some people come online and be like, my VS Code has refused to push to Git. I'm having issues cloning from Git. My VS Code is hanging whenever I try to push. Yeah, so the main reason you need to know Git is to understand what actually happens beneath it. VS Code only tries to save you the stress of typing with the hope that you understand what happens. So whenever you jam an issue or you run into a problem, you always know where the problem is from. You can it is always easier to solve. Once you are knowing the problem is already like halfway the solution, you get. So what programming languages do you need to know to use GitHub? So the answer is just nothing. Once you are ready to write code, you might not even write code. You could always store your text files on GitHub. GitHub allows you to store almost anything. So it's not really about the programming language, right? It's just you willing to collaborate with people, willing to make your project open source, your pictures, anything, you can have them on GitHub. So it's not by your programming language. So let's see. So in this session, at least, we should be able to cover the basics of GitHub. Repository, you must have heard that quite a lot of times. So we learn all about GitHub repos. Yeah, I'll be calling them repos quite a lot. Repository seems longer, and I don't know. I like repos. So we learn how to push to Git. We learn how to pull from Git also. So now repository, we're really diving in now. And yes, another quality check again to be sure we're still following. Yeah, just type repo if you're still following. Yeah, I'm like the responses are very fast. I'm really excited. Yeah, see how to complete turned my guys repo to report. Okay, so we move. So what is a GitHub repository? Yeah, it's very easy, very simple. So GitHub repository is basically, in the most basic terms, like a folder. It's just like moving your folder from your local system to the cloud on GitHub. So it's like another version. No, GitHub is a version control system. So it's like the main version of your code. So your code is still on your system, but you have a similar folder with exactly everything in your system is still on GitHub. So it's your folder replicated, and that's like the main version. So as you keep making changes to the one on your local, you push them to the main version that will be used for deployment. You get. So it has additional mind-blowing features as expected. On your local system, you can't have branches. You can't fork other people's repo. It's not like GitHub. So a GitHub repo, I already mentioned that it would be referred to as repo, allows you to have multiple branches and many other features too. So let's see. Now, I didn't talk about how to create a new repo because by default, when you try creating a new GitHub repo, GitHub doesn't really support the idea of empty repos. So whenever you try creating a new repo, it prompts you to push to the repo. So now I would go to my GitHub and try creating a new GitHub repo. So we all see how it works. So if you do not have a GitHub account, you should try sign up now. It's very easy. You can sign up with your Google account. But if you have an account, you should see this on login in. So up here, there's this new repository button. So I'm clicking on that. Yeah, we get to this page. So it tells us to enter a repository name. So I'll be naming this Git info. I think this info here. Okay, so we're using Git info, and then the description is optional whether you want or not. So let me just put BSc Unilab Git info workshop. Yeah, that is simple. So you have, as I said, you have an option to make it either public if you like open source or private if you want it to be just you and selected few. And yes, you have Readme files, you have Git ignore, and then I would explain what a Readme file is and what a Git ignore file is later on. So you create a repo. Now, back to where I was pushing to Git. So there are ways of getting your code off your local system to GitHub. So the first and I guess easiest way, but it has limits, is by uploading an existing file. Yeah, you can always click on this and drag files to upload, but it's not really the best because it has limits. Let me show you something else. So I'll try to upload a Laravel project by dragging and dropping, and you notice the error. The error is usually file too large or something. It has a limit. It can drag and drop. Yeah, so I dragged it and it's taking time to load because it's a very heavy file. So we won't really be using this method. It's not the best. So we'll go back to the page. So now the second one is to push an existing repo from the command line. So we'll be doing this because it's more like half of this. If you notice the code, this code is half of this code. So we're focusing on this one because we are using only commands and it helps us grab the real idea of Git. So quite a lot of us do these commands every day, every time we create a new repo. But mostly we actually only just click on copy this and paste, and it's not really the best way to learn. So pushing to Git is very simple. What I would do now is I would go on to explain what each and every of these lines do to make us understand Git in depth. So back to my slides now. Yeah, so back to my slides. So this I copied, yeah, I also copied and pasted. So I copied from there and pasted it here. So it looks better. And then I'll be examining every single line one at a time. So the first line, which is the repo name. So when I copied, I had a repo called test. I used it to test a lot of these things. So echo test readme.md. So I'll be opening my git bash. Yeah, and yes, if you do not have Git bash, you can always use your command line or PowerShell if you're on Windows, your terminal on Linux, on Linux and Mac. And I'm only using Git bash because some commands that I would be testing out here would not work on Windows. So the ls command, if you're on Windows, you can use the dir command, dir, yeah. So I'm trying to move to my desktop. Okay, so have the desktop. Yeah. So my desktop now, I'll be creating a new folder. I'll name it Git. Okay, let me name it DSC Git. So a new folder called DSC Git. So in my folder now the folder is currently empty as I just made it on this command line. Okay, I've not moved into the folder. DSC Git. Yeah. So if I list, there's nothing in my folder. So I'll be running this first line of command and we all get to see what it does. But let me go back to my slide. So in my slides, I have that this writes to a file named readme.md. It creates the file if it doesn't exist. It's similar to the touch command on the Linux operating system. So basically, you are creating a readme file if it doesn't already exist on your command line. And if it exists already, this hash text is added beneath it. Uh, do we understand what I'm saying? Please reply yes if you understand. Oh, people can't hear me well. I'm very sorry. Please type yes if you get my point. No, sad. Okay, I would explain again. So the echo command, it's not really Git. Very like a Git command. It's just a command that you can use on your terminal to write, like to create files dynamically. Instead of going to your text editor, creating a readme.md file and typing text in it by yourself. Let me show you. So I would open my text editor now. I hope we can all see my screen. Uh, Please, can we see my screen? Oh, a bit. How can I help that? Oh, sorry. If you can't see my screen, please. How does it look? Is it the color or something is blocking it? Okay, can it be zoomed? Okay, yeah. Let me work on that. So I'm coming. Okay, so this might take a while. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'm really sorry that I didn't plan it to come this way. Is it bold enough now? Adekunle Ademola, is it bold enough now? Yeah, someone can hear me. Wow. Uh, I don't think the problem is from my side if you can't hear me. Okay, so now back to what I was saying. Yeah, so in my text editor now, I'll open my recently created folder. I put it in my desktop and yeah, DSC Git. So I'll open the folder now. Yeah, so my folder is empty. If you can see my screen, I have an empty folder. Yeah, there's no file in it, nothing at all. So running this command, this echo test readme.md is the same as coming here, creating a new file, saving it, and naming it readme.md and typing hash test in it. Do you understand? Or do I need to go over again? Sorry, what notepad? Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, that was not really my notepad, and I'm not sure I can zoom it. It take a lot of time to zoom it. Oh, sorry, but the code I'm actually writing there is on my slides. I'm only trying to run it over there. Do we understand? So it's not like I have any special code there, just me trying to run what I have here. I'm used to having it tiny. Sorry. Okay, so someone said I should go over it again. I'm liking this page. Command line. So now in my folder, there is nothing in it, no file at all. So if GitHub wants you to always try to have README files, so README file is just from the name README, something people that come to your repo can always read at any particular point in time. So it's just something to read to give them some little idea about what is in the code. So if you've probably written any of these JavaScript frameworks before, you would have seen a README file in JavaScript frameworks. In most frameworks, Laravel, Django, all of them have READMEs. So something you can read to understand. Yeah, someone asked which of the two commands is best, Echo or Touch. I don't know, depends on your operating system. I think Echo works everywhere. Touch doesn't work on Windows. So I think I've answered that. So now, when GitHub tries to encourage you to have a README file. So that's what the command is for. So the command is basically the echo command is saying look for a file called readme.md. If it exists, write this stuff between the quotation mark inside it. If the file does not exist, create a file with this name and write this inside it. So it's very easy, like it's way easier than me coming here and then creating the file. You also, it took like 3 steps. You come, you click on new file, you have to save, you enter the name, and then you have to start typing in by yourself. It's stressful and all. So GitHub just tries to make sure you have a README file by like of compulsory. So you can as well always at any time you can skip the first command if you do not want, because now you know what it does and it doesn't really affect whether you can push or not. Do we understand? So we go on to the next line, which is the Git Init. Yeah, this might be a little bit tricky as okay, I'll try using my command line. So maybe you guys can see. So yeah, I'm coming. Let me make this bigger. So I have 60. Okay. So Git Init, which is the second command here. Sorry, do we have questions about the echo? The first line. If any questions, please ask it now before I move on to Git Init. If no questions, please just type no questions so I'll know we are following. Please let's just type no questions so I'll know that we do not have questions. Very well. Yeah, so I'm really glad. Well, so now we move on to the next command, the Git Init. So what does Git Init do? So since I said you don't really need the first command, you need the second one. Yeah. So what the second one does is Git is I explained that Git is a, oh, someone is asking after creating Git account, what next? Yeah, you should be able to use, once you have your Git account, you see your Git homepage and then there's a new stuff there. Yeah, creating a Readme file is optional. You can, yeah, GitHub tries to encourage you people to write not just code. If after writing all your code now and then I don't write React or I don't write Django, I come back to your code, there's no readme. I can't really be reading your code to know what it does. So if there's a readme, your readme you can write like a description of this. Let me see, I think I have a readme here that I can show. I'm really sorry, I'm trying to, yeah, let me see. Okay, so a readme is just a very simple file. It's usually displayed here. Okay, so this is my readme. It has the name of the project. It has some little description about. So you don't really need to read the code to know what this does. So the chart in the page were made with Chart.js, the JavaScript library. So it's something, not something to read. So GitHub always just tries to make sure that you have a README file. That's why when you create a new repo, it's part of the command that you run, whether you know it or not. You you create it almost every time. So now, yeah, I think there are no questions. So I move on to Git Init. So I explained the other time that GitHub is a version control. It has Git working, which means it has a version control system. So I do Git Init. It creates a hidden folder. So I don't know, we wouldn't be seeing. We really can't. Most of us can't see the folder. So I'm going to desktop and DSC. So let me do. Yeah, so we can't see the folder because if you check, these are the things in my folder now. And you see, I have my README file. I have two files that do not have names, so you can't really see it. But I think that's it. Yeah, so your normal command prompt would not see it. But if you are using like a Linux or if you're on a Mac, you can at any time cd into the folder and you notice that it creates a .git folder. So that's where all the reports of file changes, uh, all the changes you made, what time you made them. So it's stored in that folder. It's a hidden folder. You don't really get to see it. But when you do Git Init, it is created, and then changes you make on as from that time are being tracked, whether you pushed or not. Changes are still being tracked on your local system. Do we understand this? I know it's somewhat confusing, but do we understand? We'll understand it better as we progress. So just type yes if you understand. I'm sorry, I'm having pop-ups. Okay, yeah, I'm really glad someone understands. Yeah, many people understand. So we move. So next up is the, yeah, over here, after the Git init, which is a very important command. You initiate the Git repo, which means you want Git or GitHub to be tracking changes made in that folder as from now henceforth, which means you're ready to use Git. Next is the Git Add Command. Yeah. So what this basically does is there are steps to getting your code from the local system to GitHub. So GitHub doesn't really know what files you want to move from your local system because quite a lot, sometimes you could be writing code on your local system and maybe you remember something and quickly jot it down into a new file or something like that. I think someone happened to me at one point. I'm coming, let me show you people. I mistakenly pushed a file that was not really needed for the project. It was just me forgetting something. Yeah, I think this is it. Or isn't this? Shit, it's a private repo. So pardon me, I'm only just trying to make sure this is as practical as possible. Okay, so I think, okay, this is it. I have a msp.txt file here where I was trying to uh, write something, just note something at once, and I was on Sublime. I really needed to write something down. So I just quickly created the .txt file in the folder that I forgot, and then I wrote it. So I just typed it, and I mistakenly pushed to Git, and yet I've not even deleted yet. So when you do Git add, there are two ways of doing this. It's either you add just a file by its name, so you can call Git add a particular file name. So let's say you're a web developer now, you want to push only your index.html. You don't want to push your test.html. Maybe you are only using that to practice and you never actually want it to leave your computer. So you can write git add the name of the file, or you can do git add dot. So the full stop kind of tells Git that okay, it's not specifying anything. Let's push everything. Do you understand? So you are saying okay, add this file to the things to be pushed, add this to the things to be pushed. So using git add dot kind of adds everything to a list of things you intend to push. You can always drop them later on, but it adds it to the list of things you push. So the main reason why you find okay, back to our current circle. So the main reason why you find it the Git add readme in a new project is because first GitHub doesn't know if you have an existing project. It is assumed that you only create a GitHub repo. You would likely create a GitHub repo when you are just starting out a new project with an empty folder like we're doing right now. So it assumes that the only folder you have or the only file you have is the readme.md file. So it adds that. Do we understand? Please, do we understand? Uh, yes, okay. So I'm really excited. So now we know that the echo command is not that important, even though it is important, not like it won't make not like you won't be able to work with Git without it. So you can always keep it. Git init is very, very important as it is like the beginning of any new project that's supposed to be on Git. It's you informing Git that I want to start. Init is like short for initiate. So I'm about to start this. I want you to track changes I make. I want you to uh, help know when it was like just monitor the files I have in this particular folder. So Git add, you could decide to put the name of the file if you choose to add a particular file. You could just add dot and tell it that you'd love to push every file in your current directory. We move on to the next thing, and that is Git commit. Yeah. So Git commit is, let me explain now. So Git add to cart now is, sorry, I said add to cart. Git add is like me adding to cart. Yeah, I want to use shopping as an example. When you do Git add, it's like adding to a cart. When you do Git commit, it's like checking out the cart. So after checking out, when you now push, that's when the file, your current stage, your current version now leaves your system and goes online. I'm not sure if you understand, but let me explain. So when you add, always do git add regularly. Whatever files you add, I not really do not really have like a version themselves. You know, I explained that Git is a version control system. So let's say you have version one of an application. So as you keep on adding, it's not really making it like version 1.1 or 1.01. You're just adding to the next like version. So it is when you now do git commit that you actually make a new version. So yeah, so git add is like for my next commit, for my next version, I'm trying to add these 10 files so that when I make a new version, I've corrected the change on the home page, the sign up page. Do we understand? So Git commit is like when you now when you actually check out from your cart, you're just adding them when you actually make a new version. So the minus M tab there, it's called message. So M is for message. It works without you can still have Git commit without your -m, which is your message. You could try to write anything here, but having -m makes it easier to track. Let me give a quick example again. So we explained that Git is a version control system. So when at any point in time you could actually check versions of your software. So I would show this now over here. Okay, so let's see. So this shows changes made, time they were made. Coming. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is it. Yes. So this is it. So since I started developing this project, every single version that was made, every single push and commit are recorded here. So you notice now that this M is now the message. Using writing sensible messages makes it easier for you to know in case you have an error. And yes, another important, a very important use of version control is, let's say you have a working application now and you decide to like probably make it more colorful, you decide to add a new feature, and upon adding that feature everything just crashes. You can always go back to the last working version. Do you understand? So writing reasonable commit messages make it very easier. So here now you see I have something like contact view and form done. Get to set up WYSIWYG. After making this, if I make this push now and then there is an error, I can always go back to when I add my contact view and form. Then I will know that okay, from here it works and I can always view the code. Yes, Git tracks every single addition or subtraction from a particular file. So what this is showing is that as at the time of this commit, there was this function here. It was removed and replaced. This new, the ones in green are the things that were added. The ones in red are the things that were removed. Do we understand? So it basically tracks everything. So the M message here is just the message that would be put there. So it's like just for readability. So you have low battery, continue later. Friday, you see, we're still moving. Added the required front end. So it's always very nice to have beautified login page, started work on training registration, you get. So it's always good to have the M minus commit M message to make your commit understandable, but it still works without it. So you don't really need it. It is not compulsory, but it's very it's advised, it's best practice to have it. So do we understand now? Please reply yes if you do. Yes. Okay. So now we go on to the next line, which is Git branch main M main. Yeah. So what this does is you are switching the branch. So by default or before, GitHub used to have it used to have a master branch by default. So let me go and check if it still has. And I think it still has. So by default, it used to have a master branch. Okay, yeah, we've not set up any, so we don't really have branches yet. But by default, you have a master branch. So when you do this, it changes the current branch from master, whatever it is, to main. I think they are trying to make a new naming convention now. They don't use master anymore. So one of your previous the branch. And this command would later come in very, very handy when you start making large applications that need different branches. You might need to work on a branch, then work on another branch. Yeah. So this just basically changes the branch from the current branch to main branch. So now I feel this is easy. No need to ask if you understand. Yeah. So the next one is the Git Remote Add Origin. Now what this does too is very easy. This just tells Git that okay, so whenever I am ready to push, where do I actually want to push to? Where should my code go? So you basically come over here. By default, it has been copied for you, but this is actually the let's copy to your browser the link just with a .git. So it's like push on my system. I want it to actually come to this repo. So that's what you are saying, that where should my code go whenever I push, and you've added this as as a remote origin. You get, so it sets the Git repo that you would love to push to. So I guess that's also very straightforward. Now we move to Git push origin main. So this is very straightforward, just Git push. We are pushing to the main branch. This is just like you can always do Git push at any time, but this is just more like you're confirming that you are pushing to the main branch. You know, you switch to main, but you can never tell. So you're just pushing to the main branch exactly. And basically, that is all you need to know to be able to push to a new GitHub repo. So do we have any questions? We are about to go practical for a while now. Okay, someone said, is it like Git commit the message? Yes. The Git commit command is like the important part. That minus M is saying that you are about to write a message afterwards. Then the message should be in quotation mark because it's obviously string. I don't know what language you write, but you have strings in most foreign languages in quote. So you just put whatever your message is in quote. Do we understand now? Sami Ilesomi, do you understand now? Okay, so let me see. I think we can have rooms now. Let's see. So you have 34 people in the call, 6, 34. Yes, you have like 6 groups. 5. No. And then just 7, 28. Wow. So let's have 6. 5 minutes. I'm trying to test something. I'm trying to see if I can actually group people here to having room so we can like work in groups now. Or let me just cancel this. Okay, so yeah, let me give a simple task now to make sure to be sure that we're actually all following. So if you've never pushed to a GitHub repo before, yeah, someone asked, do you have to specify the URL anytime you want to push? No. When you specifying the URL the first time you create the repo, and after that first time, it already knows that this is where you would love to push every single time you just like when you create a new repo on your command line on your system now, you have a new folder. You could decide to not use GitHub. You understand? You decide to push somewhere else. It's just like telling that everything I do in this folder, I want it to go. Yeah, you can always change it later on, and you can always like add other stuff to it to make sure that probably you want it to push to GitHub and Heroku at the same time. Anytime you make any change, you want to push to both of them, you can specify that too. So it's just the first time. Once you set it, whenever you make any push, it goes there. Any more question? Oh, I created one myself. So any more question? If you do not have questions, please type no questions so we could move on. And yes, Udo GK Mesoma, did I answer your question well? Okay, no question. Very well. Thanks a lot. So if you've ever pushed to a GitHub repo before, please signify yes in the chat section so I would know number of people to engage now. If you've pushed before, please say yes. If you've not pushed before, please say no. Okay, so I think Dadala Olua has not pushed before. Classic Plus. Yeah, so some of us have not pushed before. So what I want us to do now is I want everybody here. Oh, sorry. Wait. Someone just said that. He said, do you have to specify the URL anytime we want to push? Yeah, the answer is no. Anytime apart from the first time you create the folder and run this command, you never have to specify the URL again. Once you've told it where it should always push, it would continue pushing there continuously. You don't have to specify every time. So, Umesoma, please, did I answer your question now? Please, I would really appreciate responses if they can come on time. Okay, what if there's a new project? Yeah, for if you notice in my GitHub, I happen to have many repositories. I think I have 83. So the purpose of this is not really like just there. So upon every new project, you have a new repository. So when I started, I said the repository is more like a folder. So on your personal system, your repository, your code would always be in folders. Every new project has its own folder. So it's the same on GitHub. Whenever you create a new folder that this client's project, this project that I just got, this is the folder for it. You start a new Git repo also. So that's why you're doing would go to Git. Do we understand? Classic plus. Have I answered your question? Please, our responses. Uh, like local, oh yes, like local host. If you write PHP or any of these languages, yeah. For every new project, you have a new project. For every new project, you have a new folder, and you can always reference from that. If that's how you want to define it, it's like local host. Yeah. So now I want all of us that have not pushed before to please try pushing now and drop. So to make sure that we actually understand this, I would do something now. I would make a small project now. I want us to all see it. So I will just quickly build a simple web page now. I'm a web developer, so I'll just be writing some random HTML now, and I'll try push to Git. So first is I'll delete this repo, and then I'll make a new repo, then I'll in there. So you can all see the steps. And yes, I know it seems like it's hard to memorize. Yeah, it seems like it's hard to memorize. But with practice and if you keep building projects very frequently, you get to later, it becomes a part of you. The more you build projects, the more you have to push to Git and all. So let me create a new repo. Let me name it DSC sample. Yeah, there's a Git sample. So I'll be leaving the description. I'll be skipping everything just to create the repo. So yeah, this is it's set. So I just go to my I can go to my Sublime now. Let me go to my desktop. So I want you guys to see what I'm trying to do. So in my desktop, I can create a new folder. I shouldn't be doing this in Sublime. Let me go to my file manager. It seems it's easier that way. So go to my file manager now. I want to start a new project now. Open desktop. I'm on Windows, yeah. So I create a new folder. So I'll name it intro. Intro. Let me just name it intro. I don't think so. I have a new folder now called intro. I think this is a good time to learn how to use your command line if you don't know how to use it before. If you do not know how to use your command line, please type yes on your if you do not know how to use your command line, please type yes. Okay, we have some people that do not know how to use it. So we're having a very fast session on it because that's not like the point of this session, but we're having a very fast one. So your command line is just basically an uglier way of doing things you would normally do. Like you saw me go to my desktop to create this folder. You could do it on your command line. You want to create a new file, you can do it on your command line. Like most things, or probably to my own knowledge, most things you can do with your mouse by clicking can all be done on your command line by just typing names and commands. That's why it's called command line. You want commands on it. So let's see. I can always do CMD and it opens up. So this is it, no line of code. I'm sorry if the font is small. This is the default. I've never had to present, so I never thought of adjusting it. But I hope we can all see something. So the command line, there are some basic commands. I will teach only the basics. Yeah, like four commands. So first is when as by default now when you open it, it's in this folder, C users user. And if you go to your file, you see that there is this C drive. there's this users folder, and then there's this user. So this is where we are by default. So if you want to know where you are, or yeah, if you want to know where you can always do pwd. Sorry, that doesn't work on Windows. I'm coming. I can't remember the one that worked on Windows. I don't usually use command line on Windows, but let's see. So you can always do dir or ls if you're on a Linux system or a MacBook, an Apple laptop. You can always do ls to list folders in this current folder. I hope you understand. You know, I'm in the users folder here. Don't you list out all these folders that we are seeing here? If you're on Windows, you do dir and enter. If you're on a Linux or a Mac, they use the same command. You can always do ls. So dir on Windows, you run it. I noticed that if you check, you have .android, you have .android, you have Android Studio 4, Android Studio 4, you have Bash history. Yeah, and some files that you wouldn't see. Yeah, you have Bash history, you have config, you have config. So it's just the files that are on your system. If you want to view, so let me just put it here. So you have dir to view files in the current folder. Yeah, I'm trying to type it here. So dir, but if you're on Linux or ls for Linux and Mac, Linux, I spell Linux only. Linux, how do you spell Linux? Okay, Linux and Mac. Okay, so this list directory. So if you check well, notice that there is a desktop directory here. You want to go into that directory, you know, from here, you can easily click on it. But from the command line, how do you go from here into a subfolder? So when you're going into a subfolder, you use the cd command. So the cd command is used, it means change directory. Directory is another name for folder. So you want to change your folder. So there are two ways of using the cd command. You could want to go into a parent folder or a child folder. So when I mean parent, I mean, you know, this user, the small user is in the users folder. So if you want to go into the users folder now, the big users folder, you do cd dot dot and click enter. And notice, check out my path now. It's no longer C users user. It shows now that I'm only in the C users directory. And if you want to check, you can just do directly to list the things in it. And you notice that yes, these are the only two folders in it. Do we understand? Yeah, I think we do. But if you are moving into a sub directory, you do cd and then the name of that directory. So by default, your command line would autocomplete if you type a first letter. So let's say I type U now and each tab it brings users, or if I type P, each tab it brings public. So I'm going to users and it works. I'm in users now. I want to go into desktop. I know that desktop is in users. I can do D and desktop. So I can go into it. But sometimes you could want to go deeper than one folder. Like let's say, let me go back to when I started. So I'm starting from the users directory where I'm starting from. So let's say I want to just, I don't want to waste time. I want to go from this user directory. I want to enter into, where's my desktop? I want to enter desktop. I want to enter in this folder. And I want to enter this folder. And I want to enter this folder. How do I do it? You don't expect me to be doing CD repeatedly. So a simple way, or the only way, I think that's the only way and the best way, is to just do CD the folder you are going into. So if it's office, or let's see, okay, yeah, we've entered desktop yet. So cd desktop, and then you put a slash. So your slash depends on which operating system you are using. I think on Linux it's usually facing it's normal slash, and I think on Windows it is a backslash. But it's easy to know. You can always check which pattern of slash they are using here, so you can always know. So desktop, and then you have a folder called office. And if you're not sure, you can always check. So in desktop, there's this folder called Office, and then in Office you have A, it brings up because that's the only folder you have, and then in that you have P for public, it brings it, that's the only P that you have, and then you can go as deep as you want, and to be sure you are there, you can do directly, and you notice that your public, you have CSS images, JS, you have an images, you have favicon.ico, you get. Do you understand? So it's that easy to navigate from one folder to another command line. Yeah, it's very easy. So now we back to where we started. So let me close it and do it again so that we can see how easy it is. So CMP, move into your desktop, and then remember the name of the folder that I created. And if you don't remember, you can always do it directly and check the name of the folder. So you notice that the name is intro. Yeah, so you have intro here. So you can always see the intro. Yeah. So now we are in our folder, and notice, or if you remember that our folder is empty. So open folder. Let's see. Let me open the folder. Open folder. So okay, I'm opening my intro folder. Yes, our folder is empty, and we want to use it for our next project. So whatever we build here, we want to push it to Git, and want to, yeah. So you can always create a new file. Let me save it as dsc.html. Yeah, so dsc.html. So I'll just be having some random HTML. Yeah, let's see, dsc. Okay, introduction to Git. Yeah, so dsc introduction to Git. I want an header of participants. I want a list. Yeah. And then I have my name. Let me put my name. Yeah. So I save this now. So I have this folder now, and in that folder I have this file that I would love to push to GitHub. So this is in case you have an existing project now that you want to push. So now we actually have code now. We want to push it to GitHub. We've created our repo. And now to push to it. So you can follow the commands as well. So let's do that. So if you do, now notice that over here we have just our code, nothing else, just our code that I wrote with my hand right now. If you do the first command, which is the echo, and then let's say whatever you want to name it, let me name it DSC stuff, echo DSC stuff, and then I'm creating a new folder called readme.md. So I do this and I click enter, and notice immediately you have a readme.md file, and whatever I put in there is actually shown here. Do you understand? So it's that simple. I think I can remove the position mark. Yeah. Let me see. Are we following? Do you understand what I just did now? So I'm trying to practicalize the commands one after the other now. So we all saw what happened now, Abi. Okay, so very well. I created my file. I did echo, and we all saw what the echo does. You know, I explained that echo actually creates the file. Where is it? Yeah, so you know, I explained that echo actually creates a file. If the file exists, it writes. If it does not, so let me show you what would happen if I run this command again, even though the file exists. So I'll now change it to ESC stops 2 to show you what happens. You know, we already have a file now. If I run this, nothing serious happens except for it is now added to the existing file. Do you understand now? So exactly what I was trying to explain here, that it writes to that file. So if the file exists, it adds whatever you put in here. It adds it to the file. And if it does not exist, it creates it automatically and still puts that stuff in it. Do we understand? Oh, sorry, which part do you want me to rephrase from? Okay, so I'm waiting for Classic Plus. I like the name. Okay, so she's taking time. Okay, so we move. Yeah, so after doing that, we move on to the next line of code, which is Git Init. Now, I explained that this doesn't really give any output or anything really. It just creates an hidden file that does all the tracking for you. So it's not as if you get to see any visual output after running this. So you run Git Init, and you see it initializes an empty Git repository and then you see there's a .git stuff. But if I try to check it here now, I'm not sure you can actually see it. Yeah, it's not visible, but you know that it exists now because you can see your full path. You see user desktop intro and .git. You get so to the next command now. So you have Git add. Now, did I explain to you that when you do your Git add and you name a file, it's only that file that would be added to that version when you commit and then later push. So I'll give an example now. I would only add the readme.md. I'll leave the dsc.html and I'll show you something. So remember that after adding, we made our commit. So I will commit now, do git commit. Let's spell commit over here. So git commit test. I just want to show you something. Oh, sorry. Git commit, I forgot my M. Git commit M and test. Yeah. So you see that it gives a simple notification. It tells you that you are in the master branch. This is your root commit. This is the message that you put, which is test. It lets you know everything you are doing. Like you have a file change because the file was not there before. So you have a new file, and then there are two insertions to the file, which means you added two lines to the file that was not there before. You see how it is tracking changes like live. So and then it has some other details, like it gives it this random key that uses to track. But you see what happened now. So it only notices one file because that was the only one I added before I made my commit. So there is a command that I forgot to put in my slide. It's called Git Status. Okay, so now if you do one Git Status now, it brings a detailed status of your current project. So it tells you on your branch master, you have untracked files, like that is files that you've not added. It detects that you have this file in your project, but you've not added it, talk less of committing it. But it detects it, so it lets you know that there's a file that you've not added. So you have the name of the file written in red. You see how it works as a version control system. Lets you know everything about your files and everything. It watches it very carefully. So you have the dsc.html. So if you now decide to add all to prevent future issues, you can do git add dot. It adds everything, and then if you do git commit now as it should be done. So you can actually omit the message as I said. Yeah, okay. It's waiting for my editor to close the file. Okay, so I'm done. Okay, so it aborted you the empty commit message. Okay, let me make a commit message. So let me do minus m and let's do first commit. First commit as usual. Yeah, so now you notice that you now have one file change and it's noticed 12 insertions. And yes, we have 12 lines of code. Now let me tell you how wonderful Git and GitHub is. If I add and enter now, just enter a new line space and save. Just add a new line space and save. If you come here and do where is Git status, it tells you that you've modified dsc.html. Do you understand? It's like it's that powerful. It tracks every single change. So it lets you know that you've modified dsc.html, and then you can always add dot again, and then you can do git commit and let me say added space. Try making your commit messages human readable. So git commit, I forgot my M again. Okay, so space M. So let it make a message. So added space, and then you see it tells you one file has changed. You added one line and you deleted nothing. You get it. So very easy to use, very informative. So now that we've committed, okay, that's linked to the slides for people who ask for it. So now that we've committed to Git, like we are on this. So you've noticed that since we've been making changes, it has been saying master, which means it has been pushing to our master branch. But by default, the new GitHub setup now doesn't really use master branch anymore. They're trying to switch over to main for some reasons. So all you need to do is just git branch minus m main. So I was telling it like switch to main. It doesn't really show anything on the command line. It's just changing branches and all. So after doing that, now you can set where you actually want it to go. So I can actually create a new repo now and copy the link instead of using this. So but let me see, remote add origin, and then to make it easier, I can't just for me to type the link, copy and paste, and then it already sets it. It doesn't show anything yet. It just notes it that okay, this man wants me to push to this repo whenever he asks me to push and up. So I think this should can after this, once you've made your commit, you already have a version, you've set where it should go to. I can do git push, and let's see, git uh, push u origin main. Yeah, that's it. Git push origin main, and then it takes a while and it pushes. So now you see, it counts objects, it compresses it because it makes it easier to transfer. And yes, it's done. So if you check here now, you can just reload and you find your file here ready with your two files. So you see our readme file, it's always open by default so people can easily read it and all. So in your dsc.html, if you open it, you find that you have your HTML code the way you wrote it, and it's that easy to push to GitHub. Do we understand? Please, if we do, just type in yes. If you don't, please type in no and what part you don't understand. We are done with pushing to Git. So what I would want us all to do now, I believe, even if we've not pushed to Git before, we have folders or projects that we've been working on. So what I just want us to do now is in the current folder that the current project that you're working on that's not on Git, please, I would like us to try pushing to Git now. So I'll be giving a 5-minute break. I think I really need to have some water. So I'll give a 5-minute break now. I'll go get water, try pushing to Git. I'll be back in less than 5 minutes actually. So just get water and drink. So try pushing. If you have any errors, drop it. I'll be back in 2 minutes here. So see people in 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, hello everyone, I am back. Yeah, creating a folder, okay, starting from Classic Plus, creating a folder from your command line, from your CMD is not really compulsory, but creating a folder is you are just doing the make dir command, mkdir, which is short for make a directory. So you're telling it to make a new folder. So that it's that easy. So make dir with the name of the folder. So if you're doing make dir new folder, yeah. Make that with whatever the folder name is, and it's that easy. So at Classic Plus, let me know if I've answered your question or you still have something else that's confusing. Yeah, okay, so the file name created with echo, does it have to be the name of our file on text editor? No. When you use echo to create a file, it's like the same way you normally create it from your text editor or from anywhere. It's just like GitHub doesn't know which text editor you use, and they don't want to tell you that go to your text editor and create a new file and name it. They just like use the single line command that does it for you. So it's any random name you want. If you are very familiar with command line, you might never have to. If I know people that don't really use like their mouse that much, most things they do have is from command line. If you're really familiar with it, you can do many things with it. Yeah, okay, so to be sure, if you make a change and want to push again, yeah, Git Remote Add Origin is not needed at all. Yeah, you saw me now, let me go back to this, and yeah, let's go back to the code. And you see, you notice that I made 3 commits. So the first one was when I tried testing something, I tried testing. Second one, I made the first commit after I did tested what I wanted to test. So the first one, I only like uploaded one file. So you can only see the changes as they're made here. I only uploaded my Readme file. I didn't specify the origin again. The second one, I didn't have to specify origin, so I reset it at first. I uploaded only my HTML now. And then for the third one, I only added a single line space to my HTML. Do you get? So I move HTML and added space to it. Yeah, so that's that. So it's you don't really have to uh, do Git remote add origin every time. And then the last one was created with Sublime. I don't really get, but you can create your folders anywhere if I'm guessing right. So please, if you feel I've answered your question well enough, please uh, type yes on the command line so I'll know we're following. And the number of people that joined has dropped. Sadly. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Very, very glad. I'm really excited people are following. So, if you're enjoying the session, feel free to go online, post on your Twitter. You can take screenshot of the current screen, post on your GitHub, on your Twitter. Let the world know you're learning from DSC in a lab. Like you can always drop your appreciation tweets and all. And then feel free to tag me too. Feel free to tag DSC in a lab. Yeah, yeah. Free to share to the world. So now we proceed to the next section, which by my slide here is forking a grid of repo. As I guess we move here. So when you're working with Git, the functionalities of Git go beyond, way beyond just you pushing your code. A very, when I was talking about the reasons why we use Git, I think the first thing I wrote was collaboration. Let me check. And so the first thing I wrote on uses of GitHub is collaboration. GitHub lets you work in teams. So now that we actually know how to create our own personal repository and push all our codes to the repository, anytime you make a change, you now know that it's very easy. Anytime you make a change, just git add dot, git commit with your message, and git push. Very easy. No, no stress. Do we understand? So just 3 steps and just 3 lines of code on your command, and it pushes very easy. Now, how do you get to work with other people on GitHub? How do you get to collaborate with others? So for most of our projects from now to the end of the year, with our DSE Lab, we'll be having group projects to be submitted to GitHub repo, to a single GitHub repo. So like everyone has to contribute to the it's so simple that I didn't make a slide to explain it. So basically, it's just you are taking a GitHub repo, like make of it. I'm sure it's GitHub. Wow. Please, can we hear me? If you can hear me, please type yes. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, so just one person is for it. Okay, yeah, GitHub is loading. I don't know why. It gave me a scare. I thought I couldn't use it. Okay, so here is my home page now. So I'll show you something. So there is this repository now. I know the guy that created it, Adam Watan, that's his name. So the way GitHub is when you view a repo that's not your own, you see the owner's name and the name of the repository and then the files in it. So let's say I want to contribute to this repo, or I actually like the way this repo is, and I want a version of it on my own personal. Okay, someone doesn't understand clearly. Yeah, I'm trying to explain. So when you fork a repo, what you're doing basically is you're making a copy of that repo to be used for your own personal work. I don't know if you get. So there's a project someone has started or is about to start, or so okay, someone has started, probably is almost even completed, and you feel there's a way you can contribute to it. You feel there is something you can add. Probably after going through the code now, you look through the code now, you discover that there's something that you can add. You can do something to make it better. You want to contribute. Uh, so to contribute to it, at first you need a version of it. You need like a copy of the project that you can add your changes to, that you can contribute to. After making changes to that version, that's when you can now show it to the owner that look at my version of your project. I've added cool features, I've made corrections, I've made it better than the way you gave me originally. So to do that, to have your own copy or your own version of something or somebody's source code, all you need to do is just click on this fork icon and it asks you, you wouldn't see all this, you only see your account name. I have some other stuff I do my GitHub. You only see your account name and then you click and you see this funny thing. So it is just copying it from where it is and it's making a version of it for you. I notice now that you have my name, the name of the repo, and there's this small message that forked from this guy. You get now, so you can always, there's always a link back to where I actually got it from. So okay, let's see. Okay, so Samile, what I was just explaining is how do you fork a GitHub repo? So and I explained that forking a GitHub repo is basically making a copy of somebody's work or somebody's project, making it personal to you. Like you want a copy, like a photocopy of something. So I just did that now. So if you check my repository list now, you notice that I now have 84 instead of 83, and then that I just copied is also part of my own repos, even though I didn't create it. Because someone created it and I forked it, now I have my own version of it that with the note from GitHub saying that this was actually copied from here. Do you understand? So now I can decide to just leave it here. Maybe I want to reference it later and I want it to be easy to reference. I can always come to my own personal folder or my personal GitHub and have access to it very easy because I already made a copy of it. Do we understand? Please type yes if you do understand so that I can move on to the next section, and that is cloning a GitHub repo. Okay, yes, very good. Oh, that is here, Idris. I'm honored. Okay, so now that you've forked a repo now, so now I have his repo or his repository, but he has many files. He has like 10 files, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has like 6 files. How do I get to actually make these changes? So how do I get this thing from GitHub now to my own personal laptop? How do I now I've forked it, I have a copy, but the copy is still online. It's on my GitHub. I want it on my personal laptop so I can work on it. I can open it in my Sublime and work on it. It's very easy. So there's a single line command that does it, and that command is Git Clone. So the process of downloading code from GitHub to your personal system is called cloning. And if you come here, you see this code with download icon. When you click on it, it gives you the ways of cloning. So there are ways by which you can actually clone a repo. So the most popular way is to use that command I just showed you. And to do that, all you need to do is, so I'm on my desktop now. Let me go to my file manager. If you check on my desktop, I do not have any folder called post CSS tailwind. Yeah, I don't have any folder called that. So there's no folder. You can all see that. So what I'll do now is I'll do git clone and basically just copy this link. I copy the link and I paste. So git clone and then the link of your own fork of the person's code. So you click on it, you see it is cloning into, it is unpacking objects, it is doing this and that. And you notice now that I now have a post CSS tailwind folder. And when I open it, I find everything that was here. I find that I now have it on my local system. So that way, I just successfully downloaded his code. And now you can always download zip file, but why not download zip? Why do you have to clone? So a very simple advantage of cloning is that when you clone, it's still connected to where you are getting it from. So whenever you make a change, okay, yeah, I cloned from my repo. And the reason why you are cloning from your repo is so that you can push as many times as you want without having to wait for a pull request. I'll soon get to pull request now. So that you can having your own version that you can work on to ensure that you've done something worth sharing, something worth adding to the original version. That's when you yes, I cloned the version I forked exactly. I would be having a summary close to the end of the session. Understand? Please type here. I could stop following. Okay, so just one person. Wow. Okay, someone else. No, I was waiting for people to respond. So I'll quickly go over it again. I found a repository that I feel there's something I can contribute to. Probably I can make a change, I can make it better. I have ideas to improve something there. So first I do is I make a fork of it. So making a fork of a repo basically means, yes, you first fork. Making a fork of a repo basically means making a photocopy of it, like a version of it on my own personal GitHub that I can work on till I'm sure, and then I can present it to the owner that, yo, I made these changes to your project and to make it better and oh. So first is I make a fork of it. So the fork is saved onto my own personal GitHub. Then now that I've forked it, it's still online. It's on my GitHub, but I don't have it on my personal system. So to get it from GitHub to my own personal system while still maintaining that relationship, I can basically just Git clone, and then I have it now on my system. So what I'll do now is I'll come here to I'll open the folder. Where is it? Where's the name of the folder? Okay, yeah. So I'll open the folder now, and you see I have access to all the files that the guy had on his GitHub. So now that's all on cloning a GitHub repo. Now making branches and pull requests, making branches and pull requests. Yeah, so because we're almost out of time, I might be skipping branches now. So probably the end. If by the end of the session we have time, I'll explain branches. They're not really, they're not used that much except for very large scale applications or very large software code that needs to have different branches. But pull requests are daily stuff. So if we still have time by the end of the session, I'll be explaining branches. No, the URLs are not in quotation. You can see it here. The URLs are not in quotation at all. Just git clone and paste the URL directly. Yes, I will let us have a very practical session just now. So I want to explain pull request and then we'll go practical. So I'll stop talking for a while. No, I'll still be talking, yeah, but we'll have a little practical session. Okay, so I stopped at making pull requests and branches. So branches till the end of the session, pull requests now. So now that I have his version of I have my version of his code on my system now, and I want to make changes to it. I want him to see my changes. So first is you have to make the changes you want them to see first. So let's see where I can make changes. Input.css, package.json. Okay, let me see. Process.config. Okay, tailwind.config. Let me see. Oh, this looks too much. I'm looking for where I can make a change. Okay, I know what to do. I'll do something very simple. I'll make a readme.md file. Readme.md. I'm making a new file now. The new project is not my own. It's someone's project that I cloned, that I forked, and then I cloned. So now I want to actually make change to it. So first is let me give it a title. So tell. Let me see. Post CSS 8 wind. I'm just trying to show you people how you can contribute to other people's projects. So you fork the project, you clone it, you make your change, you push back to your repo, and you make pull request. So let's say this project explores tailwind CSS after the offee. So this would likely be rejected because I don't know the owner of the project. I don't know his intention, but I'm just trying to show people how to contribute. So the guy can always reject my contributions if he doesn't like them. So this project explores tailwind CSS after the official release of CSS 8. Yeah, okay, so let's put it this way. So now that I've done this, I can go back to my repo, to my command line where actually where I cloned, yeah, so where I cloned. Now that I'm in the folder, I can do Git Status to actually check what's going on. I notice that it tells you your branch is up to date with the origin branch, which is the origin master branch, but you have a file that you've not added. It is untracked. Do you understand? That's the meaning of untracked. Okay, how do you get the person's code you want to fork? Yes, if the person actually invited, the person could share you a link, or you can just go to GitHub. Like if you want to have access to all of my codes now, you can just go to HTTPS. I'm dropping the link now. github.com/zoobs. And if you click on this link now, you have access to all of my codes, all of them. I'll tell you what to do now. Tell you which of my repo we can all contribute to now. But let me quickly get this done. So now, if I do Git status, I notice that there's an untracked file. That is, there's a file that I've not added and committed yet. So very easy. I'll do Git add dot add it. I do Git commit minus m, and a very understandable commit message is I made a readme file. It's easy for him or whoever owns the project. Once person sees this, person understands what you've done without having to open your code. So that's the basic purpose of readme. I made of your commit messages. I made a readme file. Person knows, okay, this guy did this. I don't really have to bother over it anymore. So and then it tells you that one file change, I inserted 3 things because I actually have 3 lines of code. And then I can just do let me try this. Git push. I think it should work, hopefully. Yeah, and you see, I was able to push. So if I go back to my GitHub, now you notice that there is no README file here, and GitHub was even suggesting that help people interested in this repo understand your project by adding a README. So now if I reload, you remember that I already pushed. I pushed here. So if I reload now, you notice that it now has a README file with that I wrote. So now I've successfully now to make my pull request, I've successfully pushed back to my own version of the code. Now automatically GitHub detects that your branch has one commit ahead of the original branch. Like the owner, with what he has done and what you have done, you are one commit ahead of him. You've made a new version after you copied from him. There's something you have done that he does not have. Do we understand? So GitHub notifies you, and that's the meaning of pull request. So you are requesting to make change. You are like so if you click on pull request now, you see this screen that tells you comparing changes. So it's comparing to see what has changed between your own and the person's own. So if you notice now, it's not too lengthy because all I had to do was just create a new file and add content to it. So you can easily create pull request, and there's still chance for you to write another commit message and a message. I'll just say this was used to teach it and Git up by yes to the lab. Yeah, so something for the owner to read whenever he sees this. Yeah, I think I have a question. Okay, so I clicked on pull request. Can I still undo this? Okay, I did. No, you would see it now. At the top, but at the top there is this thing that notifies you that this branch is one step ahead of the person's original branch, and there is this pull request. There you click on it, and it brings you to this page that tells you create a pull request, and then you can click on create pull request. GK Umesoma, do you understand now? So all I did was just to click on the pull request and then create pull request. Okay. So now, oh, wow. What command did you run? And are you sure you're in the particular directory that you're supposed to be in? I don't know if it's sad that I can't see your screen. Asami, have you been able to solve it? If you said I should go on, you've been able to solve it, I guess. You want to start again? The steps are easy. If it's new, you make your readme file, git init, git add git commit minus m your message, whatever you want, and then git add remote origin or git remote add origin, and then where you want it to go, then git push origin master. Yeah, someone wants to see my terminal again. Yeah, so this is it. All I did was I did git pull Git Clone rather, to get it on my system. It downloaded and stuff. I went into the folder that just got downloaded, status to let you know after adding my change. So Git was able to let me know that I have a file that I've not tracked, I've not pushed yet, so it's not tracking it on tracked files because I've not like added it yet. So and then I did git add dot, and then I did git push, and I add it here. So I decided to make my pull request. Have I answered your question? Yeah, the seminar is being recorded, but it might take a while to get it to you because this is a session we've used more than 1 hour here, so it might take time to process and get the recordings to you. But trust me, it is being recorded. Yeah, you can see here I have stopped recording, which is I'm recording. So now that I have open my pull request, I now click on create pull request, and automatically the person gets notified. Now, if you see something says only those with right access to this repository can merge pull request. So when you merge a pull request, what does it mean? Yeah. What merge pull request means is this person, the owner of this repository now, he gets a mail notification that Zoobs added something to your repo. He comes over to GitHub, he sees my changes, he can view my changes, he can always review my changes, he can see what I did, my commit, everything involved. He can always see what I have done. So after seeing what I have done, you can then decide to either accept it or reject it, or probably even not attend to it at all based on his mood. So GitHub does not mean you can just start adding nonsense to people's repository. People still have right to check to be sure that they want the addition you've made and it gets approved and merged. So it might take a while if you're trying to make a pull request to a big, probably to a very large source code that's not your own. They would have to go through your code carefully. Let me see. How did you get the recorded file? Sorry, give me a second. Let me ask. David. I suppose all of us, everybody here is on a particular study group or the other. Yeah, I think most of us are there. Let's see. So I'm trying to message. Yeah, so before she replies, I'm going to proceed. Yeah, so create pull request is the last thing to do. Yes, on your own end is the last thing to do. So after the person sees it and then approves it, it's added to the code, and then you notice automatically that you become a contributor. So I'll show you a project now that has more than one person that owns it. So look at this. Here you have contributors and you have 2 people and code. So you have 3 people contributing or that have contributed to this particular project and the languages that were used for this particular project. So if the person merges your pull request, so if I show you the commit now, so this is my own repo, but there's a guy that I'm working with that keeps on making pull requests. So if I show you, you notice that you see Zoobs most times, and then this is Arit. And most times you see that I only merge his branches, I merge his pull request. So I merge pull request to I did this, he added this, and I merged it. So it's more like, yeah, I said you do not specify the origin multiple times. Once you've specified the origin, it already exists, and saying it again is like you're repeating something to Git, and it is letting you know that here it already exists. So you can continue on to Git add dot, and then Git commit your message, and then Git push. Do you understand, Sammy? So it's very straightforward. Once you've told it where to push to, you don't really need to repeat yourself by saying Git add remote. You're welcome. Okay, so when it makes its pull request, I always have to review it. Then after reviewing, if I see that I like it, I merge it. And once your pull request gets merged, you become a contributor automatically. So it's that easy. So I guess those are the basic things you need to know about Git. So now I want all of us to do something very really practical now. So the repository that I created, I'll drop the link here now. Yeah, this one. So I want every one of us to, in the HTML part, I want every one of us to copy this li, make another one, and then put your name instead of my name. Please, do we understand the assignment or the task I asked us to do now? Please, if you understand, say yes, so I can easily drop the link. Do you understand what I want us to do? I want us to add our names to this repo that I just dropped the link now. So very easy. You are following the same steps that I've explained so far. So here is the live flow of contributing to open source. Just 5 easy steps. You fork the repo. So you have a version. Yeah, sure. Very. I'll be here till 6 p.m. We have 15 minutes more. So we have, you fork the repo, you clone it, and some projects need setting up. Unlike this that I just did, some projects need that you actually install some other things for it to work on your own system. So you push to your fork, and then after that, you can easily make pull request, and your pull request is merged, and automatically you become a contributor. So this is the repo link. I would wait for all of us to do these 5 steps. In case you want to see my screen, this is my screen. So I would wait for your pull requests. So in case if you encounter problems trying to do it, you should always uh, you should feel free to drop it here. So I would wait for your pull request, and then I'll show us how to merge in case somebody's making a pull request to your repo, and it's very easy. Okay, where is the fork stuff? It's at the top right. Look at it. If you can still see my screen, look at it here. So it's always at the top right. Are you clear now, Sammy? Okay, so it's only Sammy that's trying to do the task given. Really happy. Nobody has made any pull requests, and we're almost done with the session. Yeah. Okay. No, you do Git, Sammy, you do Git clone and then the link to the repo. Do you understand now, Sammy? Yeah, the same way is Git clone. Yeah, Git clone dot Git. It's actually there. If you click on this, you can copy the link and then just add Git clone. So it's Git clone and then the link. Okay, finding the file on your system is it depends on the folder that you were on when you did your Git clone. So let's say I am so now I am on my desktop. So if I do Git clone whatever, I know it would be saved onto my desktop. So just look for the name of the file, DSC sample, Git sample. Check it on your okay, you've seen it. So just open it in a text editor and make your changes. Okay, people. So I think yeah, we are done. Just waiting for your pull request. Yeah, okay, I'm waiting to be merged. Yes, as I explained, I have to actually go through your code and decide to either merge it or not. So now, as I explained, I get to see whatever you do. So this is what you do. You only just added your name under my name, and then I get to see the stuff, everything involved. So I can always go back to the conversation. I click on it now. I can decide to merge your pull request. So I click on confirm merge now. You see it shows merging and then it has been merged. So if I go back to my code, you see now that there are two contributors and you are officially a contributor to my GitHub repo. Do we understand? So Ahmad Adewale, I just sorry, what was the error? Git status shouldn't not work. It's really not doing anything except telling you the status. How do you edit to write a name? Sorry, I do not get the question. Oh, you are really web. I said open your text editor in Sublime or VS Code or whatever text editor you do. It's an HTML file. Yes, it's a web page. It opens on Chrome by default. So please open with your text editor, make your change, then push. You can't like double click to open. And yes, we should please try to be fast. So what command did you run that gave you this? We're almost out of time. The platform only allows for 2 hours, so by 6, if we are not done, it would close us. And are you sure that you are in the current directory, like you've entered into the project? Once you've seen the project folder, you CD into the project. So you are like doing CD. Okay, solved it. So please, I would merge your pull requests whenever you make them. So very 5 easy steps. Fork the repo, clone the repo. You push to your fork, you make pull request, and your PR is merged. So because we're out of time, that's why I'm bringing an end to this. If we have time, we can always have sessions later on. But this session has been really amazing. I really appreciate your responses. I hope I've been able to teach even as little as possible. I hope each and every one of us has been able to gain one thing from this session. So now I'm done, and it's all over to you. You decide to further your knowledge of Git and GitHub. You actually get better by building more projects, collaborating with people. When you start forking and cloning every day, you get used to it. It becomes a part of you. Like you know the commands without having to cram them anymore. So next things to do now is build amazing things. So you learn to build amazing things, know what you've accomplished, what is left to tackle, keep pushing. So enjoy your life. Don't care whatever anybody says. Unless last one is catch cruise. Yeah, no matter what, shouldn't put yourself under too much pressure. Even during this session, I still took a break to go and get water. Feel free to catch cruise. Nobody's clean. So good luck. I really hope with these new stuff learned that will build amazing stuff together. So if you really you really want to know more, like want to know deeper about Git and GitHub, you can always check out YouTube, or you can check out Lacon. They have a session on Git. So how do you send to the repo back, like my original repo or your own fork of it? If it's to your own fork, you're only doing git add dot, git commit your message, and then git push. And then once you enter your GitHub, you see this, there's always this pull request icon by the top. Yes, I just saw two more pull requests. I'll be merging them now. So the first person added name. Oh, this is our daddy, sir. I'm coming. Let's see. Okay. So this happens when too many people are making changes, or too many people push at the same time. So it has some type error. I'm going to merge this. So let's see, commit merge. Okay. So it's adding the merge. Okay, so I'm merging his pull request. Yeah. Okay, if you said there is not anything to compare, maybe you've not pushed to Git, or probably you've made your pull request already. So let's see. Yeah, that's all. Feel free to uh, tag me at our diaries on Twitter or at DSU Unilab on Twitter. Oh, you can't see the screen. So Sammy, I don't know what to do if you can't see the screen. We're ending the session in 2 minutes. There's really very little I can do about that. So Sammy, I said you do git add dot to add it, then git commit minus m whatever message you have, then git push to get it off your system up to my side. So I just merged Idris Emi's push, and now I have three contributors, and I notice now that I have two more. Yeah, very well. I'm liking the energy. Yeah, you're welcome, Daddy. Okay, so I feel many of us pushed at the same time to confuse GitHub, and we have some lines that are not supposed to be there. Yeah, so I'm just resolving this. Mark as resolved. Commit merge. Yeah. So it's really been nice sharing my little knowledge with each and every one of us. Yeah, I'm coming. Just something that's not been sorted. So I guess it's till next time. You have my Twitter stuff, so feel free to DM me anytime. Or if you want to write email to me, Sha, you can write a mail to me at Zubairi. So I'm trying to merge all the requests now. Yeah, so once I merge all the requests, I know I'm good to go. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're all welcome. You're all welcome. It's my pleasure. Okay. Now, you see the beauty of GitHub. We all work together to build a single file without seeing each other, without having any issues. I like the split, Sammy, more pushing to Git. How do I say it? Yeah, more push to Git. Keep grinding, and maybe some other day, if chance, we could have another session for people who do web on how to actually deploy your code, like how to host your website on GitHub without having to buy any domain or hosting or anything, just from GitHub. So it's been nice being with all of you. I really appreciate your responses, your time, and I wish you the best of luck in everything you do. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your life. Bye bye.